today to give you a sneak peek into our collection spaces and to show you how we keep artifacts safe from common insects and pests that museums all over the country have to deal with.
Let's go! Just like some of our personal objects at home, museum collections are vulnerable to pests like rodents, mold, birds, and especially insects. Different insects seek out different materials as food sources, and they typically attack fabric and textile objects, items made out of fur, feathers, or hide, paper materials, or things made out of wood.
The Anthropology and History collections at the San Bernardino County Museum contain various objects that are susceptible to pest damage and that fall under these categories. Objects within the history collection that particularly need protection from insect pests are our costume and textile collection, which includes clothing, quilts, rugs, and other fabric items that may also contain fur, feathers, or hide materials, historical artifacts such as wooden furniture, tools, toys, and other household objects, and our archival collection, which consists of thousands of paper objects such as photographs, books, letters, and other records.
The Anthropology collection at the museum contains even older textiles and plant materials that make the perfect food for bugs. Delicate basketry material, dye wools, and yucca fiber shoes are some of the objects that must be protected. Here in our storage area, these items are kept under lock and key with very strict environmental controls.
Here at the San Bernardino County Museum, we use various methods and practices to keep bugs away and to keep our objects safe. By taking preventative measures and by consistently monitoring our collection's objects and spaces, we try to ensure the best conditions for exhibiting and storing our objects. We are going to show you some of the practices we use here at the museum to help prevent unwanted critters from getting into our collections. Here at the San Bernardino County Museum, we use freezing as a method to kill any insects that may possibly be inhabiting any museum collection objects. So anytime we accept a new donation or an item comes back from being on loan or we take it off of exhibit, we take it down here to freeze them to possibly kill anything that might be living on the objects. Freezing collections objects is a simple and safe method to eradicate all life stages of insects, including eggs.
Chest freezers work great for this, but before we can put objects into the freezer, we need to wrap them with tissue paper and plastic. Let's take a look. Usually we do this for organic material. So anything that's organic, like feathers, hides, plant material, we like to wrap in tissue paper and then acid-free tissue paper and then put it in a plastic bag. That way it protects from any humidity changes that occur within the freezer.
Also wrap objects in marble seal, which is an aluminized polyethylene and nylon barrier film that seals with heat. So we use an iron to seal it in on itself. And what the marble seal does is it helps cover, insulate, and protect objects from any possible moisture, and it also maintains humidity levels before, during, and after freezing. We also use the marble seal tape to cover up any staple marks or any corners or little rips to make sure all of the oxygen is eradicated out, and that way it's completely sealed. If we eliminate any oxygen and water vapor penetration, that's going to help protect the object.
Objects stay in the freezer for about a week. We do use logs like this to let us know when things were placed inside and when they're taken out.
So after objects come out of the freezer, they should stay out for at least 24 hours. That way they can acclimate back to room temperature. Marble seal adds an additional layer of protection to the object in that it seals everything in and keeps moisture out. So condensation will form around the marble seal instead of the cardboard box or the object inside. And then also, marble seal can be used just in general for longer term storage, and it helps protect against gases, liquids, moisture, and pests.
Vacuuming objects is an important part of the pest management process. After freezing and before they are stored, many objects are delicately vacuumed using this brushing technique so as to protect the object further. With this method, dust is brushed away from the surface into the vacuum. Objects shouldn't be vacuumed directly since the nozzle can be quite hard and sharp. Notice the mesh covering on the end of the vacuum as well. This helps catch any particles that are accidentally disturbed. This vacuum is actually really special, especially this part. This dial allows us to control the speed and power of the vacuum's inhalation. Typically, we use quite a low setting. Dust and mites are bug food, so the more dust we can remove from the surface of the object, the better it will fare. Very fragile or broken objects are never vacuumed. Welcome to our rug room. This is where we store most of our ethnographic textiles. Now, let's take a peek into one of our sticky traps. Okay, as we can see here, we do have some critters. Not only are these useful to identify the bugs that are or are not making their way into storage, but they also tell us what type of materials are very attractive to the bugs. So if you have silverfish, as we have here, it shows you that your paper products smell really good to these bugs. If you have bugs like beetles, you know to take care of your skin or animal products.
These insect traps help us log information regularly so that museum staff can also identify what times of year are most problematic. Additionally, we can see how many buggies that we're catching and also what types of bugs are in the trap. So by reporting on the insects that we catch inside the facility, we can best mitigate any further damage that they may cause.
These are all modern ways that we deal with pests in our collections. Now, museums, as you know, will go to the ends of the earth to protect these priceless artifacts. But how far do they actually go? Historically, textiles like these would be treated with arsenic-based pesticides to get rid of pests. So we have to take extra precautions when we're in storage areas with these textiles. The museum's mission is to preserve the past for our common future. In order to do this, we must be diligent in maintaining a strict pest management policy. Do you ever wonder why you can't eat and drink in a museum? Food odor attracts bugs, and bugs eat our stuff! Here's a sad example of what happens when bugs make their way into the museum. We also have a very rigid cleaning schedule since our clothes and our shoes drag in dirt and mites. These wonderful exhibits can only come to life when we do our best to preserve the objects we highlight. That takes teamwork from me,
From me,
and most importantly, you.